Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, and atheist, one, two, and all in between. This is for the absolute positive, good God, and truth of your lives, only crossing bigger and better, alive and well forever. I'd like to walk you through a timeline of existence. And as I do this, I'm going to compare things, and some things are from other videos that I've stated, but some things or just be a new perspective on what I'm stating. But I'm going to start with Adam, okay? And this is prior to Eve and prior to the world being Shiva shafted, he shafted by the snake god devil, okay? And I'm just going to start like this. At one time, the earth was a true sister reflection of the sun with pyramids all over all, okay? And if you've heard anything that I've stated in other videos, right, if the sun doesn't shine more positive and protonic on the earth than anything negatively neutronic about it, no life as we know it to the reality check of mankind can keep existing, okay? Now I state that Shiva, the Hindu god of mythology, right, shafted the earth, and the only hospitable place left after he did that was where Adam woke up, which was in the garden, okay? And I state that is because after Shiva, which is Yahweh, Yadabaoth, all these other articulations of the same God, threw Adam out of the garden, nowhere else on earth was hospitable. Okay, now here's what happened. Okay, Adam was the God and the king of the men of old prior to the world being he shafted, and Adam was eons and eons old. He was the father and the God of all mankind, creation of existence. And he came to himself in the garden, fully grown, right? He knew he was created good, an atomic man, right? Never to be destroyed, but he had no bearings on reality, okay? He looked up and he seen Eve, and Eve was shining, right? Beautiful and more positive than anything negative that was going on with him. So he turned to the faith of Eve. He took on this fruit of faith, right? And the same way this snake god, right? He shafted the earth. At that point, Adam was he shafted with his own logic through the faith of it, okay? Because like I've said in other videos, no faith is as good as truth. If it was, that's all Adam and Eve would have been for their faith, okay? That's all the world would be for the faith of it, okay? Now, all faith has positive variables, but in reality check, if they're not lasting, right, to keep you always good as truth, it's the good truth of nothing of you. And that's why Adam lived 930 years more after he got through out the garden and died of it. And I don't care if you're 7 days old or 7 million years old, right? If you die anything less than being more positive than anything negative of you to keep you good as truth, right? That's just a sad state of affairs, okay? And Jesus understood this, okay? And that's why through the thief and the fool on the cross, right, he was able to articulate not only with his life as a man one more positive than all negativity, right? Good as the truth of God of him, okay? As a reflection back to the world of mankind. But when he got on the cross, okay, on one side was a thief and the other side was a fool. And he was able to bond one more positive with the thief, good as the truth of God of him, right? Bigger and better than all negativity, and they stole their lives back, okay? Because you can't kill something more positive than negative. That's the good truth of it, only crossing bigger and better than all negativity. Anywhere creation of existence, atom, matter, evolved, exists, okay? And in reality check, the only person that died that day, like all them fools of faith that put Jesus and the thief on the cross, was that thief that hung himself out negatively deficient of being more positive to the good truth of God of him, to the reality check of his life lasting. And the thief woke up before Jesus, rolled back the tomb, right? Sent him on his way alive and well, okay? Mary seen the thief. The thief explained to her that he sent Jesus that way. He was shining more positive than anything negative about him, happy to be alive. She gave him a kiss on the cheek and called him an angel. And this is how this story went, okay? Now, if you plug a plug into the wall, the positive male energy of that plug better outweigh anything negatively deficient female about the plug, right? Or you could burn your house down, or you won't have enough energy, right, to sustain your electronics, okay? Your half male and your half female only cross one more positive than anything negative about you, right? One more positive male than anything negative female about you to keep your life and your body good as truth. You can't come to no harm being more positive than negative anywhere creation of existence, okay? To the reality check of you. All atom matter creation of existence, I don't care if it's evolved as one atom or a mountain of atoms, if it's more positive than negative by the physics and laws of all known matter creation of existence, it can't be destroyed and can only be the bigger and better of here and now. And if it's a man or a woman, to the good truth of its shape, form, and mass, it's alive and well, okay? To be more positive than negative is the substance, durability, and solidness. It is the value and volume of all things creation of existence to the reality check of mankind. And like I've said in other videos, when you're not, all you have is faith, okay? If you're not crossing more positive than negative always, right? All you have is a nutty, fruity, bushwhacking articulation, a snake on your matter of faith, okay? And I'll prove it to you right here, right now, just like I've done in other videos. Inside these atoms are protons and neutrons, and on the outside the atoms are the electron field. Now, everything that isn't your matter puts off energy, okay? And depending on your polarity is depending on how you're absorbing this energy, either more positive or more negative to the good truth of your shape, form, and mass being expressed, okay? As the here and now of it. Now, each proton is made of 2 up quarks, 1 down quark, and each neutron is made of 2 down quarks and 1 up quark. Now, speaking for a man or a woman, right? Well, let me say this. It's the neutral nothing of the proton and the neutron. They're 2 total opposite polarities, okay? And the neutron is the matter and the soul of you, always looking to be more positive than negative because it can't sustain its own positive energy because it's a lower stated energy level than the proton. So if the proton doesn't overwhelm the neutron always more positive than negative, that neutron is in a state of radioactive decay. And in the body, right, inside of an atom, it's either not enough energy for it to sustain its bonding matter, or it's too much energy and this neutron will turn into a proton. But it's never the neutral of nothing. The atom isn't neutral and the neutron isn't neutral. And outside of an atom, right, the neutron's in a constant state of decay and disintegration, okay? And as part of a neutron star, it becomes a pulsar when it's not overwhelmed more protonic than neutronic, and it eventually collapses into a black hole abyss, just infinitely negative of the here and now of its shape, form, mass of the proton or of the neutron star of it. Okay, when you don't cross more positive than negative, right? You're collapsing. Always, you're collapsing your matter, right? The neutrons of you eventually to 1 nothing of you here and now, just infinitely negative, right? As a black hole abyss of you with the devilish hells of you. And this is how it happens. The only way you can crisscross negative with negativity as a man or a woman, right, by choice, is through faith. And the reason why is no faith is good as truth, or that's all we'd be for our faith since Adam and Eve. But nobody nowhere is absolutely more positive than negative, good as the truth of their faith. And when you don't know to cross more positive than negative always, to keep your matter good as truth to the reality check of your shape, form, and mass, that is the substance, durability, and solidness of you, you won't. And all you have is faith. And when you crisscross with this faith, it's negative of always being protonic because it states that things cross bad, evil, and sinful. Okay? And what it does is over a volume of time, acting nutty and fruity, hallucinating these things, right? Your body can't sustain that negative with negativity. And to cross negative with negativity is the incarnate she, he, shafting devil, devilish hells of all people, places, and things. And it's the reality check of how Adam and the earth was shafted by Shiva in the beginning. Yaldabaoth, Yahweh. All these articulations are of the same fool in the garden shafting the world, okay? That had shafted the world, okay? And to make a longer story short, right? When you don't always know to cross back more positive than negative, right? More male than female with your matter, right? It's no good as truth. And in reality check, right? No matter how good you are with your faith, right? It's always going to be less than what's more positive, always to keep you good as truth. And that's why no matter how good a person is, right? They eventually die anyways if they don't know to always connect to something more positive to keep them good as truth. To the here and now of them, that's the substance, durability, and solidness of them, right? It's the value and volume of all things they come in contact with to be more positive than negative. The buildings, trees, you, me, everybody, of everything. And it's the only thing that kills anybody in reality check. And that good person of faith, right, they're going to the same black hole abyss, right, as anybody that you might state bad, right, through the same hellish ways on their body. Because, see, decay and disintegration, aging out and dying, is a hellish way on your body, and it's no good as truth. But if you can't recognize this and you don't understand this, no matter how good this faith articulates you, because all faith has a positive variables to it, right? But they're not lasting good as truth. And you won't be either. And this is why you suffer out of existence. Decay, disintegrate, or die. And you can tell a doggy or a monkey, no, bad, sit, stay, lay, right? But you will never tell this animal to only go do more positive than its negatives. It's the only way it can add up, stay, or be good as truth. And in reality check, because of this, right, this animal can never save its own life. How about you? Because it's the only thing that's killing out mankind to one neutral nothing of us here and now. Just negative of the here and now, no good is truth of our shape, form, and mass being expressed here and now to reality check, or to keep being expressed to the here and now reality check. Again, the state of one more positive than negative is the only light, joy, warmth, good God or truth, holy with spirit, all of all will ever know or be. It's the only state that all of all in body and matter of shape, form, mass of atoms crossing and bonded evolved is stated good to the truth of their shape, form, mass, only crossing bigger and better than all of all negativity. It's the substance, durability, and solidness. It's the value and volume of all things, creation of existence, only crossing to the here and now of them, only bigger and better than anything negative. And if you don't know this, right, you're always suffering it at some point or another where your faith comes up short to bring you back more positive than that always, because that articulation isn't there for you good as truth. The only thing that's there is faithful leadership from your overseers through your mind, through your body, through the world that state that things cross bad, evil, and sinful, right? And as a she, he shaft of just negativity, they create victims, crooks, prisons, jails, wars, right? The biased conflicts, convicts of us, right? Blind and undefined, right? Their governance, no good is truth. And if you look around the world, right, when Shiva shafted the world, right, he broke the continent up into 7 different continents, and there's underground cities all over, right, that used to connect, but you'll never find the reality of that check anymore. But the only thing that's left of the earth being a true sister reflection of the sun is the pyramid dynamo that was created, okay? And if you go anywhere on earth, right, China, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Mexico, you will see that this pyramid dynamo, right? This pyramid dynamo reflected back to Earth as a true sister reflection, one more positive than negative at one time. But that's the only thing that's left of it. And if you don't know that, right, in reality check, it's a lack from the Earth, right, from your mind through your body to the world. Okay. Now, like I said, Shiva shafted the world, and he's a snake god. And every time you cross, and it's the Hindu Sindhu that you do with faith. And every time you crisscross, right, negative with negativity, you can only do it through your faith. And it's a snake on your matter. It's a snake of energy. Negative, to be negative with negativity is a snake of energy on the matter of you, the neutron of you, the soul of you. And depending on how this energy hits you, right, either the protons of you are turning in, or either the neutrons of you are turning into protons, or there's not enough energy to sustain you, just like I told you about when you plug a plug into the wall. You're not being regulated right. See, anything that's here and now expressed through the reality check of their shape, form, mass is only expressed one more positive than any negativity about them, or they would not be here and now. And when your expression doesn't always come back that way to keep you more positive than negative, to keep the good truth of your shape, form, mass here and now, the substance, durability, and solidness of it, you are being shafted. You are being snaked by this he shafting devil head. And what he did is he put his nagas, right, on each continent, and they ended up being the blue-blooded royal dynasties all the way up to the modern day of today, right? And they were ancestral, and all the way up to the Mount Hermon until they couldn't breed anymore because their kids came out either too deformed or too mentally challenged to bring on their ruling party, so they bred back with the inhabitants. But this is for another day. Again, what I'm trying to tell you is, if you die at age 7 or 7 days old, or at 1,000,000, it's a sad state of affair, and you only die of being negative to what is good as truth always, to keep your life and who you are more positive than anything negative about you, as the substance, durability, and solidness, the value and volume of your life lasting. And in reality check, you hear me? You only die of not being able to regulate the energy and the polarity of you more positive than negative always, because you have no mind for it, because the leadership of you has no mind for it. In reality check, in all faith, it's only a lie. It's a biased lie to what is good as truth, and it will never take you to an absolute bigger, better of you here and now, only more positive than negative. And again, that is a fact of God check from the Fool, Thief, Man, God, King, Bonding Atomus, man, King Atomus, evolve all God, truth, reality check. I am the Father, Son, and thieving Holy Spirit, evolve all mankind's negativity to one neutral nothing. I absolutely positively am. That's God, truth, the reality check. Peace.